appears that the markets are suffering from the Monday blues at this point. The benchmark indices have slipped, but there are, well, interesting pockets of action. We will, of course, be talking all about them. A very good afternoon and welcome to Stocks Calling with me, Ashmit Kumar. Now, this is the show that looks to keep you a step ahead of the markets by helping you tackle those difficult questions. So in case you have any stock queries, call me on the number that's flashing at the bottom of your screen. I'll of course take up your question and get some of the most experienced market players to get you the right answers. Well, let's first begin this show with a quick glance at the global markets. Well, beginning first with the American markets. Now, some strong domestic numbers were seen helping up Wall Street. Now, they did edge higher. In fact, the Dow closed on Friday with marginal gains. In Asia, however, the picture that we are getting is vastly different. The big news that's coming in is of course the hiking of the interest rates by the Central Bank of China. That in fact has a single factor is weighing down on the Asian indices that has managed to spook the Asian markets. In fact, Shanghai Composite interestingly is the only one, ironically is the only one that is trading higher at this point. As for Europe, well, the debt worries have resurfaced and European indices appear to be a little nervous, a little edgy at this point. They have opened Monday trade on a negative note. Now let's shift our focus back onto the Indian markets, not the American ones. Back in on the Lal Street, the markets have managed to slip into the red and are trading lower. The chief culprit has been the IT space. Now the negative momentum seems to have carried over from Friday at this point, and heavy selling again continues on the IT majors. In fact, it's Infosys and TCS that are seeing big cuts today. Now, amongst the other sectors that are weighing down on the benchmark index, we're talking about the banking, the capital goods and the metal space as well, which are seeing some sharp cuts today. But it's not a sea of red. In fact, there are some pockets of green as well. Auto majors are attracting some buying action. In fact, Hero, Honda, ever since it announced its release of dividend, that in fact has really helped up the prices. In fact, it's up by in excess of 4%. So again, positive action there. The oil and gas space too is attracting some buying action. In fact, with the heavyweights performing today, like of ONGC and Reliance, are attracting buyers today. Now, just to give you a quick sense of, again, the big stocks that we have been discussing, it's been largely a day of some of the heavyweights really determining in which direction the markets will move. We're talking about the likes of Infosys, TCS, which are weighing down in the index. The likes of ONGC and Reliance, which have a heavy weightage on the market, are in fact supporting the market movements at this point. We are seeing some cuts in the banking arena as well. So that has really led to some negative pressure today. And largely, and of course, speaking of the banking space, we will also be discussing HDFC, IndusInd Bank, and of course IFCI will be coming out with their numbers, their Q4 numbers. We'll be keeping an eye on that as well. Now, as for the market breadth, we are leaning a bit towards the declines. Support is of course coming in by way of small caps attracting buyers today. So that's as far as your market breadth is concerned. As for the market levels, well, we're looking pretty, we are in the red as of now. In fact, the Sensex is trading at 19,202. Down by 184 points. The Nifty, meanwhile, is trading at 5762, having slipped by 62 points. So that's the sense coming in. That's pretty much how the markets are stacking up at this at 1 o'clock right now, 1:30 in fact. And of course, joining us on the show to give us some more sense of these numbers is of course Mr. A.S. Prasad. He's a partner with Tiger Lily Capital Advisors. Mr. Prasad, welcome to the show. Great having you here again.
Sure, good afternoon.
Now, of course, one question that is that's on the mind of most investors and traders is bulls or bears, which direction to go in right now? And of course, we're getting mixed signals. On one hand, we do look at open interest, which is in excess of 1,40,000 crores. On the other hand, the put call ratio is slightly on the higher side. Yes. So again, mixed signals coming in at this point. Looking at the levels, which direction do you think that the markets will surge in?
Yeah, see, actually in the market there is a stiff fight going on between the bulls and bears, and the fight range itself comes to around only 200 odd points in the Nifty. That is on 5735 on the lower side and 5935 on the upper side. So we have to wait and see in which way the ranges get broken. But as of now, if today the close is less than 5835, then I am expecting the Nifty to fall up to 5666 level soon.
Right. So that's a picture of, again, if the markets were to slip. Can you also give us a picture of perhaps if the markets close higher than 40, 58, 35? Which are the levels?
Yeah, if it closes above 58, 35, then it can move up again back to the upper range of 5840. Until 5844 is taken, you can't expect much fireworks in the market as of now.
Right, so that's the picture coming in as far as the numbers are concerned. In fact, 5666 should act like a strong support if the markets are to close below 58.35. But of course, expect fireworks beyond 58.40. That's the sense coming in from our expert, Mr. Prasad. With that, let's move on to the first caller of the day. We are now joined by Kritika, who's joining in with her question. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Kritika.
Yeah, I just want to know whether shall I buy Infosys at the present level for 3 months target.
Which one? Right, that's Infosys that she's eyeing at this point. Now, of course, let's keep in mind that S&P so far has been the only agency that has downgraded, in fact, Infosys Technology. So that has Infosys, largely people have been buoyant about it despite the cuts that we have seen on Friday, and again we continue to see today as well. So in that context, is Infosys a good buy? Having seen 9.5% on Friday, it's down by it's 2.5% today. So again, a cut of in excess of 10%. Do you think it's a good buying opportunity for Infosys, especially with a 3-term holding period?
Yeah, it can be a good buying opportunity for a smaller bounce, but I am not expecting the entire 12.5% fall which has taken place to be retraced. So let her not go and bet on these counters. Instead, she can prefer to load the TCS share, where she can make a good momentum play in that rather than betting on Infosys. Because here it is very clear that the margins are under pressure. And now when you compare the Infosys and TCS, TCS has got an edge, clear edge over Infosys. So post results, TCS might give a better return for her.
Right, so that's the sense coming in as far as the IT players are concerned. Our expert here definitely has more faith on TCS, and of course there are a number of concerns that were highlighted. One of the major concerns being, of course, the muted guidance figures that were given by Infosys. So on the back of that, our expert believes that TCS perhaps not only is a safer bet, but will also give you better returns, especially with the holding period that you're looking at, which is 3 months. With that, let's move on. We have another caller joining in. We have Mr. Venkat, who is calling us from Crompet now. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to know that when all around the things are not good,
right,
our market are still going. What is it driving? Reliance is not, oil sector is not going up, except banking. All other things are in problem. Interest rates are going up, so the housing is going to be in problem.
Of course, that's a very broad question, right, Mr. Venkat.
Auto is going to be in the problem. Then what it is driving? How long this liquidity from the foreign is going to help us out on this?
Right,
is this a real thing or it's a false?
Right, Mr. Venkat, that's a broad question that you're asking us about what factors are really supporting the markets. But of course, I'll have to ask you again, is there any specific area that you're eyeing for your personal portfolio or perhaps for future investments?
I am looking at only L&T now. I am keeping L&T for last 6 years. I still keep buying it.
Right, so that's L&T you're holding. You have been holding on for the past 6 months, and of course you're wondering about which factors are lending support and which factors are actually weighing down on the indices as we speak. Let's first begin with your personal counter, which is L&T. He's been holding on for 6 years. How does this bet look while moving forward, L&T?
See, L&T is a good valuation buy, and he can keep buying whenever the dip is happening in the market. And he has raised a lot of questions regarding the headwinds prevailing in the market, and despite market is going up. So he is little bit worried. See, actually when the liquidity is there in the market, despite headwinds, the market will continue to move up. When the liquidity dries, naturally it will take a correction. So you need not give much weightage to the lot of fundamental issues. I agree with you, there are a lot of headwinds, the crude oil growing up and the cost pressures are there. Despite this, market has gone up. And the market is keenly awaiting the clues emanating from the Q4 results, which will be clearly known in the next 15 to 20 days. And after that, you will be in a better position to take a market call. So till such time, you stay with good counters, forget about the index movement, whether it is up by 200 points or down by 200 points. When you stick to the particular counter, that counter will definitely reward you well. So don't try to break your head and analyze so many things in the markets.
Right, that's our expert really giving us a sense of the headwinds that we are seeing. Of course, there's a lot of talk of commodity price inflation. Of course, there's a talk of crude oil being a very critical factor. But nonetheless, keeping those factors in mind, the markets have rallied. And well, as some markets analysts do say, that the market is always right. So keep your eye on certain stocks. L&T, the bet that you made last six years back, looks good at this point. And of course, ignore those headwinds and keep a track of your stock, of your portfolio. That's what our expert is telling us to all our viewers. With that, let's slip into a small break right now. We'll of course be coming back. We'll get you a lot more analysis. Now remember, 3 banking stocks will be coming out with their numbers. We'll discuss all of those 3 on the other side. Keep watching.